Every day we get people asking, especially in these economic times where we've had a downturn in the economy and then following immediately thereafter with an upswing, how do assessments work in a Prop 13 environment? The concept is very simple to begin with, but the devil's in the details, so to speak. So even with the conditions of the marketplace today, it's a little bit confusing that how can a property value go down and then be brought up maybe more than 2% from one year to the next, and how does that really interplay with the legal framework of Prop 13? And that can be a little confusing. That's really what we're trying to help people with, to help them understand from one year to the next, how can assessments go up more than 2% a year? The simplest way to define Prop 13 was that it was an acquisition value-based system. In other words, instead of having the property assessments go up from one year to the next solely dependent on the marketplace, Proposition 13 pretty much locked in the value based on a purchase price. That's the general idea. When the framers of Prop 13 thought about what would happen over a long period of time, they thought the market could appreciate, and it normally does, but let's put a cap on that so values of property and their tax bases don't go up from one year to the next in an amount that becomes burdensome. So that's really where the 2% cap came from. The theory behind Proposition 8 was to provide an opportunity for the assessor to be able to lower values when economic conditions were reduced. Now that's what we call a temporary decline. So the period of time that it could stay in that decline state, that temporary state, could be a number of years. It all depends on how quickly the market returns in an economic perspective, so that a property could go up 2% a year or it could go up 15% until it returns to that permanent basis. So the reduction is really a temporary reduction until it returns to its factored base year value. The only time we can increase somebody's assessment by more than 2% from one year to the next is when that property has had a temporary decline in value. When it's had a temporary decline or reduction in value, a Proposition 8 value, then from one year to the next, if the assessment is less than its original purchase price plus the inflation factors, then it could go up from one year to the next more than 2% until it returns to that original purchase price plus the inflation factor.